Hey guys, welcome to my first video, and in my first video today we're going to be tying the Marabou-tailed clouser minnow. Let me show you what it looks like. It's a pretty cool fly. So basically what it is, it's the lead eyes, some marabou on the back, and some flashabou, and then just some UV dubbing, and then deer tail. So that's what I'm going to be tying today. I'm going to show you how to do it, and what the materials that I'm using are. So today I'm going to be using, for the dubbing, this Ice Dub UV Pearl. For the flashabou, I'm just going to be using Mirage flashabou in rainbow. For marabou, I'm just using strung marabou, white. It doesn't really matter what you use. For thread, I'm going to be using Vivis 100 denier. I love this stuff. It's really strong. I like this stuff on really any fly. It's small. It's really strong. Yeah, and then for my hook, I'm going to be using these Saber 7042s, size 6, straight edge streamer hooks. And yeah, let's start tying it. Okay. Okay, so basically, I'm going to start off by taking my hook and clamp that into my vise nice and tight. Really want to make sure that's really tight. Okay. Now, I'm just going to start my thread just beyond the hook eye, and I'm just going to wrap back. This Vivis is really slippery. You can probably wax it if you want to. But as you can see, I'm just wrapping backwards. I'll cut my thread right here. Like I said, this stuff is super strong. It's even hard to cut with scissors. Basically, I'm just going to wrap all the way back, just like that. I'm going to wrap forward again with some long spiral wraps. Now, it's kind of hard to judge where you want to put the eye, but if you have another clouser minnow made, just like measure it on that one, and put the thread right behind the eye. The eye's there, and it should be good. Okay, so now I'm going to take my lead eyes here. These are 1/42 of an ounce, and then I put some glue on the hook there. Just a little dot. Then I'm going to take my lead eye, pinch it in one finger, put it on the hook, and then just do a few wraps on top of it. Then make sure you get that eye on all sides, just to secure it nice and tight. And then get under it with just a few wraps like that. See, it's slippery already. Make sure it's nice and tightly on there. And that glue, once that glue starts to dry, it should start to secure. I'm going to put another little dash of glue on there really quick. And you don't need to put glue on it, but I just like to because it keeps it nice and strong. And what I like to, what kind of fish I like to use these for is, I caught my first steelhead on one of these. And I also like to use it for bass too. They're pretty fun on this. Okay, so now I'm going to take my marabou. I'm going to pick a pretty decent feather, not super big. Let's see here. I had one over here that looked good and I lost it. There it is. Okay, just pluck that out. Or maybe get some of the points off of that. Some of the tips. Then I'm just going to lay it down. Should be about the length of your hook, maybe a little bit longer. And just make some tight wraps, advancing forward. Now the reason why you advance forward like this is to kind of, you don't really want the dubbing to be super tapered. Oh, this is where it kind of gets to be a pain. You don't need to go all the way forward, especially since the Marabou will kind of stick to the glue that was on those lead eyes. So make sure you just clean those nice and good, and just trim the Marabou. Advance your thread forward. Then go all the way back again. Make some nice tight wraps to secure that Marabou. And go back to where the Marabou starts. Take your Mirage Flashabou here. Just take a couple strands, you don't need a ton. I don't know how many this is, but it's probably about 4 or 5. Then cut it pretty long because you are going to fold it in half. Then measure the length on your fly. Put it on the thread, just pinch it there, and fold it over. And make 1 wrap, 2 wraps, just a couple more wraps just to secure it. Then wrap back forward just to secure the Marabou even more. And trim that Flashabou kind of at an angle, just so it's not super flush and it looks better. Okay, so now that you have your Flashabou all tied down, we're going to make our dubbing. Do our dubbing. Let's put this Marabou back here. And like I said, for the dubbing, I like this Ice Dub UV Pearl. It's got a nice little purple look to it. It's kind of flashy. And I'm just going to dub that onto my thread. Make sure it doesn't need to be super thick, the dubbing. It's kind of thin. Just want to coat that thread. Okay, and then I'm going to advance my wraps forward. Okay, and you may need to dub a few times. This will be about my 2nd time dubbing. Don't use a ton like I just did. About half of that, maybe. And it does help to get your fingers wet. Get them nice and lubricated. Okay, and finish your dubbing. Right about there. I'm just going to do a couple more wraps to secure the dubbing. And then put your thread in front of the eye of the hook. And then for deer tail, bucktail, I'm just going to be using this bucktail from a friend. You actually kind of want, normally on a clouser minnow, you'd want the longest pieces. But we're actually going to take some pretty short ones. Let's see. See if I can find some good ones. There we go. Find the ones that are all about the same length. No, they don't need to be super long. Just fairly long. And take it, and you're actually going to pull out the longest fibers. The longest little hairs. Because you don't really want the super long ones this time. Okay, now they're all about the same length. I'm just going to cut that in half. I got a pretty long bunch there. Then I'm going to measure it to just about to the end of the marabou, the deer tail. Just like that. Remember, you don't really want that much deer hair, so don't grab a ton of it. And pull it tight, make some wraps forward. Make sure that deer tail is really locked in there. Okay, and then just like a normal clouser minnow, you're gonna, on the top, or the bottom I guess it is, you're gonna pull it all down. And you're just gonna make 1, 2, and then I'll do like 3 wraps on that, just to secure it. Okay, now, if you have a rotary vise, this part's pretty easy, but if you have a rotary vise, just spin your vise to make sure that it's upside down. I'm just gonna unclamp it and put it right back in my vise, just so it's like that. And then I'm gonna come back, take some more deer hair, just like we did before. Trim that, pull out the longest fibers. You can use a little bit more than you did on the top, or the bottom, I guess. But now we're going to be working on the top. Because technically this side is the top. It's going to be riding like this in the water, so. Now I'm just going to take that deer hair, pull it tight, advance your thread forward, just cover that deer hair. Just like that. And now remember, with the top, you don't need to do the same thing that you did for the bottom. So we're just going to leave it like that and maybe build up your head a little bit. Mine could probably be a bit bigger. But just going to build up that head with the thread here. And then once you got it to about the size that you want, you're just going to whip finish. I'm going to do about 5 or 6 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I might do another one too. I always do about 2 whip finishes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pull it tight and oops. Pull that tight, trim, and you're all good. Now, how I like to fish this fly is I will just cast it. You know, you can cast upstream or downstream. Doesn't really matter. Cast it like behind big boulders and stuff for bass. Behind boulders, you know, in rapids. And, yeah, just have fun with it. And, you know, the cool thing about these is that you can really tie it in whatever color that you want. You know, you can put some chartreuse in the back. You know, you can change up your dubbing, make it like red maybe to make it look like the bait fish might be bleeding. That looks pretty cool in the water. But these things have a lot of action. The marabou kind of looks like a tail waving in the water. And yeah, fish them pretty fast. Especially for bass. You know, bass are fairly aggressive, so you know, don't be shy when you're stripping it in. And, yeah, they'll hit it pretty hard, especially steelhead. Nice chrome steelhead fresh out of the lake will hammer this thing. So, have fun. Tie it in whatever patterns, colors you want. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this channel. Yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That would really help. And, yeah, see you on the next video.